The sound of shattering glass jolted me from my concentration. I'd been grading papers at the dining room table, enjoying a rare moment of peace in my usually chaotic life. But of course that couldn't last. "Oops, sorry, Leah," Bella's shrill voice called from the kitchen. "I'll clean it up later." I gritted my teeth, forcing myself to take a deep breath before responding. "It's fine, Bella. I'll take care of it." As I grabbed the broom and dustpan, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the hallway mirror. Dark circles under my eyes, hair pulled back in a messy bun, I barely recognized myself. At 35, I should be thriving in my career as an assistant professor, not playing maid to my irresponsible sister-in-law. The front door opened and Sam trudged in, looking exhausted. "Hey, honey," he mumbled, barely meeting my eyes. "Sam, we need to talk," I said, setting aside the broom. "Why are Bella's things all over our guest room?" He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Look, she's going through a rough patch. Lost her job again. I told her she could crash here for a few days." "A few days?" I echoed, my voice rising. "Sam, her stuff is everywhere. It looks like she's moving in." Before he could respond, Bella sauntered into the room, still in her pajamas despite it being nearly noon. "Oh, hey, big bro. Thanks again for letting me stay. You're a lifesaver." I watched in disbelief as she planted a kiss on Sam's cheek, then flopped onto our couch, reaching for the TV remote. "Bella," I said, trying to keep my voice level, "I thought you were looking for a new job today." She waved a hand dismissively. "Oh, you know how it is. The market's tough right now. I'll get to it tomorrow." I turned to Sam, silently pleading for backup, but he just shrugged helplessly. "I'm heading to bed," he mumbled. "Early shift tomorrow." As he disappeared upstairs, I felt a familiar knot of tension forming in my stomach. Something was off with Sam lately, beyond just the stress of his job. We'd barely spoken in weeks, and now this situation with Bella. My phone buzzed, a text from my mother-in-law, Christine. "Heard Bella's staying with you, so kind of you to help out. Roger and I are thrilled you're all getting along so well." I nearly laughed out loud. Of course, Christine and Roger were thrilled. It meant they didn't have to deal with their youngest daughter's latest crisis. "Leah?" Bella's voice interrupted my thoughts. "Do you guys have any snacks? I'm starving." I closed my eyes, counting to 10 before responding. "There's fruit in the fridge, Bella. Help yourself." She made a face. "Ugh, no junk food? How do you live like this?" As I watched her rummage through our kitchen, leaving a trail of mess in her wake, I felt something inside me snap. "That's it," I muttered, grabbing my keys and heading for the door. "Where are you going?" Bella called after me. "Out," I replied curtly. "Don't wait up." I slammed the door behind me, relishing the momentary silence. As I got into my car, I realized I had no idea where I was going. All I knew was that I couldn't spend another minute in that house. My phone buzzed again, another text from Christine. "By the way, Olivia mentioned she might need a place to stay for a while, too. You have room for one more, right?" I stared at the message in disbelief. This couldn't be happening. How had my life spiraled so far out of control? As I pulled out of the driveway, I made a silent vow to myself. Something had to change, and soon. I just had to figure out what and how. I returned home late that night, hoping to find some peace. Instead, I walked into a disaster zone. Bella's clothes were strewn across the living room, and the kitchen sink overflowed with dirty dishes. The scent of stale pizza hung in the air. "Sam?" I called out, my voice tight with frustration. "We need to talk. Now!" He emerged from our bedroom, looking sheepish. "Hey, Leah, I was just about to clean up." "Save it," I snapped. "This isn't about the mess. It's about Bella. She can't stay here, Sam. It's not working." His face hardened. "She's my sister, Leah. Where's she supposed to go?" "I don't know, but this isn't sustainable. Our house isn't a halfway home for unemployed relatives." Sam's eyes flashed with anger. "That's rich coming from you. At least I'm trying to help my family." "What's that supposed to mean?" He hesitated, then blurted out, "I lost my job, okay? 2 weeks ago. I've been trying to figure out how to tell you." The room spun. I gripped the back of a chair to steady myself. "You what? How could you keep this from me?" "I was ashamed," he mumbled. "I thought I could find something else quickly, but..." "But what? You decided to invite your jobless sister to live with us instead?" "She understands what I'm going through," Sam shouted. "Unlike you, always wrapped up in your work, your students, your precious career." The words stung like a slap. I've been supporting us, Sam, paying the bills, keeping this household running, and this is how you repay me? Before he could respond, Bella stumbled in, clearly tipsy. Whoa, what's with all the yelling? Can't a girl get some beauty sleep around here? I rounded on her. Bella, this isn't working. You need to find somewhere else to stay. Her lower lip trembled. But Sam said I could stay as long as I needed, right, Sam? I turned to my husband, silently daring him to side with her. To my shock, he nodded. Yeah, Bells, you're welcome here. Unbelievable, I muttered. So that's it? I don't get a say in my own home? Sam's expression softened. Leah, please, we're all going through tough times. Can't we just support each other? I laughed bitterly. Support? Is that what you call lying to me for weeks? Inviting your sister to move in without even discussing it? Bella piped up. Hey, I can hear you. You know, if you don't want me here, just say so. I have been saying so. I exploded. But neither of you seems to care what I think or feel. Sam reached for me, but I jerked away. Don't. Just don't. I can't deal with this right now. I stormed upstairs, slamming our bedroom door behind me. As I collapsed onto the bed, my phone buzzed. A text from Olivia. Hey sis, everything okay? Sam mentioned you might need some help around the house. I could come stay for a while if you need me. I stared at the message in disbelief. Was this some kind of sick joke? Had Sam invited his entire family to move in without telling me? Downstairs, I could hear Sam and Bella talking in hushed voices. My husband and his sister conspiring against me in my own home. The betrayal cut deep. I typed out a quick response to Olivia. Thanks, but I think we have enough house guests at the moment. Talk soon. As I hit send, a cold determination settled over me. This couldn't continue. Something had to give, and I was done being the only one making sacrifices. Tomorrow, I decided, I would start looking for my own place. If Sam and Bella wanted to play house, they could do it without me. It was time to take back control of my life, even if it meant walking away from everything I thought I knew. With that resolution, I drifted into an uneasy sleep, dreaming of empty houses and endless arguments, wondering how my life had unraveled so quickly. The shrill ring of my phone jolted me awake. I fumbled for it, squinting at the screen. Christine's name flashed and my stomach dropped. Just what I needed. Another lecture from my mother-in-law. Hello, I answered, my voice still thick with sleep. Leah, dear, I hope I didn't wake you. Christine's saccharine tone grated on my nerves. I just wanted to check in. How are things with Bella? I bit back a sarcastic retort. Things are tense, Christine. I don't think this arrangement is working out. Oh, nonsense, she chirped. I'm sure you're all getting along splendidly. Bella's always been such a joy to have around. I nearly choked. A joy? Christine, she's turned our house upside down. She doesn't clean, doesn't look for work, and Sam. Now, Leah, Christine interrupted, her voice taking on a steely edge. I'm sure you're exaggerating. Bella's going through a rough patch. As family, we need to support her. And what about supporting me? I snapped. This is my home, too, and I didn't agree to any of this. There was a pause. Then Christine spoke again, her tone dripping with disappointment. I expected better from you, Leah. You've always been so rigid. Perhaps this is an opportunity for you to learn some flexibility. The conversation devolved from there, with Christine lecturing me on family loyalty and the importance of sacrifice. By the time I hung up, my blood was boiling. I stormed downstairs, ready to confront Sam and Bella, only to find the living room in even worse shape than before. Bella lounged on the couch, still in her pajamas, scrolling through her phone. Oh, hey, Leah, she said without looking up. We're out of milk. Could you pick some up? Something inside me snapped. No, Bella, I will not pick up milk. This isn't a hotel, and I'm not your maid. She finally glanced up, her eyes wide with feigned innocence. Geez, what's your problem? I was just asking. My problem, I seethed, is that you've been here for days, contributing nothing but mess and chaos. When are you planning to look for a job, or at least clean up after yourself? Bella's face crumpled. You don't understand. It's hard out there. I'm trying, but... But what? I interrupted. You seem to have plenty of energy for going out drinking and watching TV all day. Leave her alone, Leah. Sam's voice came from behind me. I whirled to face him, fury building. Of course you're taking her side, I spat. God forbid either of you take any responsibility. Sam's face hardened. That's not fair. We're both going through a tough time. And I'm not, I shot back. I'm the only one holding things together while you two play house. The argument escalated, voices rising until we were all shouting over each other. Suddenly, a crash from the kitchen silenced us. We rushed in to find Bella standing amidst shattered glass, my grandmother's antique vase in pieces at her feet. I was just trying to clean up, she whimpered. I stared at the broken shards, feeling something break inside me as well. Without a word, I grabbed my keys and headed for the door. Where are you going? Sam called after me. Anywhere but here, I replied, my voice cold. I can't do this anymore. As I pulled out of the driveway, my phone buzzed again. A text from Roger, my father-in-law. Heard you're having some trouble at home. Remember, family comes first. Don't let your career get in the way of what really matters. I tossed the phone aside, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. They were all against me. Sam, Bella, Christine, Roger. How had I become the villain in my own life? As I drove aimlessly, one thought crystallized in my mind. Something had to change, and if no one else was willing to make that change, it would have to be me. I returned home late that evening, exhausted and emotionally drained. The house was quiet, but the tension in the air was palpable. As I stepped into the living room, I froze. Bella had redecorated, my carefully chosen furnishings pushed aside to make room for her garish taste. "What the hell is this?" I muttered, my fists clenching at my sides. "Oh, hey, Leah!" Bella chirped, emerging from the kitchen. I thought I'd spruce the place up a bit. It was so boring before. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to remain calm. "Bella, we need to talk. This can't continue. You need to start looking for a job and your own place to live." She rolled her eyes. "Geez, you sound just like Mom and Dad. Can't you just chill?" "No, I can't chill," I snapped. "This is my home, and you're treating it like a frat house. Where's Sam?" As if on cue, Sam trudged down the stairs looking sheepish. "Hey, honey, I see you've noticed the changes." I rounded on him. "You let her do this without even asking me?" He shrugged helplessly. "I thought it might cheer you up. You've been so stressed lately." "Stressed?" I laughed bitterly. I wonder why. Maybe because my husband lost his job and didn't tell me, then invited his unemployed sister to live with us indefinitely? Bella piped up. "Hey, I'm right here, you know." "Trust me, I'm aware," I retorted. "Look, I'm setting some ground rules. Starting tomorrow, you both need to be actively job hunting, and Bella, you need to contribute to household chores and expenses." They exchanged glances, and I saw something pass between them that made my blood run cold. "Actually," Sam began hesitantly, "I've been thinking maybe we could invite Olivia to stay for a while, too. You know, to help with expenses." I stared at him, dumbfounded. "Are you serious? You want to invite your other sister to live here, too?" "Well, yeah," Bella chimed in. "Olivia's got a great job. She could totally help out with the bills and stuff." The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. They weren't just taking advantage of my hospitality. They were planning to turn our home into some kind of family commune, with me footing the bill. "Absolutely not," I said firmly. "This is not up for discussion. In fact, Bella, I want you out by the end of the week." Sam's face hardened. "You can't just kick her out, Leah. She's family." "And what am I?" I shot back. "Because lately it feels like I'm just a meal ticket and a maid service." The argument escalated quickly, voices rising until we were all shouting over each other. Suddenly my phone buzzed. A text from Olivia. "Hey sis, just booked my flight. Can't wait to see you all next week." I stared at the message in disbelief, then looked up at Sam and Bella's guilty faces. "You already invited her," I said, my voice dangerously quiet, without even talking to me. Sam reached for me, but I jerked away. "Leah, please, we're just trying to keep the family together." "Family?" I laughed bitterly. "That what you call this? Because from where I'm standing it looks a lot like betrayal." I stormed upstairs, my mind racing. This was it, the final straw. I couldn't live like this anymore, constantly undermined and disrespected in my own home. As I threw some clothes into a suitcase, I made a decision. It was time to put myself first for once. I'd stay with a colleague for a few days, clear my head, and figure out my next move. But one thing was certain. I wouldn't be coming back to this chaos. It was time to reclaim my life, even if it meant leaving behind everything I thought I knew. With a heavy heart but a sense of resolve, I zipped up my suitcase and headed for the door, ignoring Sam and Bella's protests. As I drove away, I felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in months, I felt like I was taking control of my own destiny. I sat in my colleague's guest room, staring at my phone. Olivia's number glared back at me, daring me to make the call. With a deep breath, I hit dial. Leah? Olivia's voice was warm, but cautious. Is everything okay? I've been trying to reach Sam, but he's not answering. I laughed bitterly. Oh, everything's just peachy. Did you know about their little plan? Plan? What are you talking about? I filled her in on the chaos of the past few weeks. Bella moving in, Sam's job loss, and now their scheme to have Olivia join the fray. Oh my God. Olivia gasped. Leah, I had no idea. Sam just said you guys could use some help with expenses. I never meant to intrude. Well, that makes one of you, I muttered. There was a pause, then Olivia spoke again, her voice firm. I'm canceling my flight. This is ridiculous. Have you talked to Mom and Dad about this? I scoffed. Oh, I've talked to them all right. They think I'm being selfish for not wanting to support the entire family. That's absurd, Olivia said. Look, I'm coming into town next week for a conference. Why don't we meet up and figure this out? As we made plans, I felt a glimmer of hope. At least one person in this family seemed to have their head on straight. After hanging up, I checked my messages. 5 missed calls from Sam, 3 from Bella, and a scathing text from Christine. Leah, how could you abandon your family like this? I thought we raised you better. Anger bubbled up inside me. Before I could stop myself, I fired back a response. You didn't raise me at all, Christine. I'm Sam's wife, not your daughter, and right now, I'm not sure I want to be either. Seconds after hitting send, my phone rang. It was Roger. Leah, he began, his voice stern, I think you owe your mother-in-law an apology. I exploded. An apology? Are you kidding me? Your children have taken over my home, disrespected me at every turn, and you think I'm the one who needs to apologize? Now? Listen here. Roger started, but I cut him off. No, you listen. I'm done being the family doormat. If Sam and Bella want to play house, they can do it without me, and you and Christine can stop pretending you have any say in my life. I hung up, my hands shaking. Part of me felt liberated, but another part was terrified. What had I just done? My phone buzzed again, a text from Sam. Leah, please come home. We need to talk. I stared at the message, torn. Part of me wanted to rush back, to try and salvage what was left of my marriage. But a stronger part knew that going back now would just mean falling into the same old patterns. As I debated, another text came through, this time from Bella. Hey sis, no hard feelings about earlier, right? BW, I borrowed your car to go job hunting. Hope that's cool. That was the final straw. I'd left my car at home when I stormed out, and now Bella was joyriding in it, probably with no intention of actually looking for work. In that moment, everything became crystal clear. I couldn't go back. Not now, maybe not ever. It was time to start putting myself first. With shaking hands, I typed out a response to Sam. I'm sorry, but I can't come home right now. I need some time to think. Please tell Bella to return my car immediately, or I'll report it stolen. As I hit send, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. For the first time in months, I was standing up for myself. The road ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear. I was done being a supporting character in my own life story. It was time to take the lead. I stood on the doorstep of my own home, feeling like a stranger. It had been a week since I'd left, and Olivia's arrival for her conference had finally given me the courage to return. Taking a deep breath, I unlocked the door and stepped inside. The chaos that greeted me was beyond anything I'd imagined. Clothes, empty takeout containers, and beer bottles littered every surface. The air was thick with the stench of stale alcohol and unwashed bodies. Hello? I called out, my voice echoing in the eerie silence. Olivia appeared from the kitchen, her face a mask of shock and disgust. Leah, thank God you're here. I don't even know what to say. Before I could respond, Bella stumbled down the stairs, clearly hungover. Oh, hey sis, she slurred. Didn't expect to see you back so soon. My blood boiled. Where's Sam? I demanded. As if on cue, my husband emerged from our bedroom, looking disheveled and reeking of booze. Leah? He mumbled, rubbing his eyes. What are you doing here? What am I doing here? I repeated incredulously. This is my house, Sam. The better question is, what the hell have you been doing? Olivia stepped in, her voice tight with anger. They've been having a nonstop party, Leah. I got here yesterday, and it's been like this the whole time. I tried to talk some sense into them, but Sam had the decency to look ashamed. Look, we just got a little carried away. Things have been tough, you know? Tough? I exploded. You think this is tough? Try working your ass off to support a family that doesn't appreciate you, only to come home and find it turned into a frat house. Bella piped up. Hey, we've been looking for jobs. Well, kind of. It's not our fault the market sucks. I rounded on her. And my car? Where is it, Bella? She paled. Oh, about that. There might have been a tiny accident. The room spun. I gripped the wall for support, trying to process everything. That's when I noticed something on the coffee table. Job applications, but not for the positions I'd expected. Sam, I said slowly, picking up the papers. What are these? He shifted uncomfortably. Well, I've been thinking, maybe it's time for a change. Those are applications for jobs overseas. You know, a fresh start for both of us. I stared at him, dumbfounded. Both of us? You made this decision without even talking to me? And what about my career, my students? I just thought. He trailed off, unable to meet my eyes. Suddenly, everything clicked into place. You didn't lose your job, did you? I said, my voice dangerously quiet. You quit, you were bored, so you threw away our stability, our future, without even discussing it with me. The silence that followed was deafening. Sam's guilty expression confirmed my suspicions. Olivia stepped forward, her face a mix of sympathy and disgust. Leah, I had no idea things had gotten this bad. I'm so sorry. I barely heard her. My world was crumbling around me, years of trust and partnership dissolving in an instant. Get out, I whispered, then louder. All of you, get out of my house. Now. Bella started to protest, but Olivia silenced her with a look. Come on, she said, grabbing both Bella and Sam by the arm. We're leaving. As they shuffled out, Sam turned back. Leah, please, we can work this out. I met his gaze, seeing a stranger where my husband used to be. No, Sam, we can't. This isn't just about the mess or Bella or even the job. You've betrayed my trust in every possible way. We're done. The door closed behind them, leaving me alone in the wreckage of my marriage. As the gravity of the situation hit me, I sank to the floor, tears streaming down my face. Everything I thought I knew about my life, my relationship, had been a lie. But amidst the pain and betrayal, a small voice in the back of my mind whispered that maybe, just maybe, this was the push I needed to finally start living life on my own terms. I stood in the wreckage of my living room, surrounded by the debris of my shattered marriage. The silence was deafening after the chaos of the past few weeks. My phone buzzed incessantly, messages from Sam, Bella, Christine, and Roger, all demanding explanations, apologies, reconciliation. I ignored them all. With trembling hands, I dialed my lawyer's number. Janet, it's Leah. I need to file for divorce. Today. As I hung up, a knock at the door startled me. I opened it to find Olivia, her face etched with concern. Leah, I'm so sorry, she began, but I cut her off. Don't, just don't. I can't handle any more apologies right now. She nodded, understanding. I'm not here to apologize. I'm here to help. What do you need? I laughed bitterly. A time machine? A new family? A life that isn't falling apart? Olivia stepped inside, surveying the mess. Let's start with something more manageable. How about we clean this place up? As we worked, Olivia filled me in on what had happened after they left. Sam and Bella were staying with their parents, all of them in denial about the gravity of the situation. They think you'll cool off and come around, Olivia said, shaking her head. I tried to tell them this was different, but they won't listen. My phone rang again. Sam? This time I answered. Leah, please, he begged. We can work this out. I'll get my old job back. I'll make Bella move out. Just come home. I am home, Sam, I replied, my voice steady. You're the one who needs to leave. I've called a lawyer. It's over. There was a long pause. You don't mean that, he finally said. What about our life together? Our plans? What plans? I snapped. The ones you made without me? The job applications for positions halfway across the world? Or maybe you mean your plans to turn our home into a flophouse for your irresponsible sister? That's not fair, Sam protested. We've been through a lot. No, Sam, I've been through a lot. You've been having a midlife crisis at my expense. I'm done. I hung up, my hands shaking. Olivia placed a comforting hand on my shoulder. You did the right thing, she said softly. Before I could respond, there was a commotion outside. We rushed to the window to see Sam's car screeching into the driveway, Bella in the passenger seat. Oh no, Olivia muttered. This isn't good. Sam burst through the door, his eyes wild. "Leah, you can't do this! We can fix this!" Bella stumbled in behind him, clearly drunk. "Yeah, sis, don't be such a buzzkill. We were just having some fun." I felt something snap inside me. Years of suppressed anger and resentment bubbled to the surface. "Fun," I shouted. "You call destroying my home, my marriage, my life fun? Get out, both of you, get out now before I call the police." Sam reached for me, but Olivia stepped between us. "She said leave, Sam. Now." For a moment I thought he might argue, but then his shoulders slumped in defeat. "Come on, Bella," he muttered. "Let's go." As they shuffled out, Bella turned back, her face twisted with spite. "You know what, Leah? You were always too uptight. Sam's better off without you." The door slammed behind them, leaving Olivia and me in stunned silence. "I can't believe this is happening," I whispered, sinking to the floor. Olivia sat beside me, wrapping an arm around my shoulders. "I know it doesn't feel like it now, but you're going to be okay. You're strong, Leah. Stronger than all of them put together." As I sat there, surrounded by the ruins of my old life, I felt a strange mix of grief and relief wash over me. Everything I thought I knew had crumbled, but from the ashes I could see the faint glimmer of a new beginning. "You're right," I said, wiping away tears I hadn't realized I'd shed. "I am strong, and it's time I started living for myself." 1 month after the explosive confrontation, I stood in my newly redecorated living room, breathing in the scent of fresh paint and new beginnings. The divorce papers lay signed on the coffee table, a bittersweet symbol of my newfound freedom. A gentle whine drew my attention to Rosie, my rescue dog, who patted over for a scratch behind the ears. "Good girl," I murmured, grateful for her unconditional love. The doorbell rang and I tensed, half expecting another drama-filled encounter. But it was Olivia, her face a mix of determination and concern. "Hey, sis," she said, stepping inside. "How are you holding up?" I managed a small smile. "Better than I expected, actually. It's peaceful." Olivia nodded, then took a deep breath. "Leah, there's something you should know. I went to see Sam and Bella at Mom and Dad's place yesterday." My heart raced. "And?" "It was a disaster," she sighed. "Bella's drinking has gotten worse, and Sam, he's a mess. He kept talking about winning you back, making grand plans that made no sense." I closed my eyes, fighting a wave of conflicting emotions. "That's not my problem anymore, Olivia." "I know," she said quickly, "and I'm not here to guilt you. I finally told them all exactly what I thought of their behavior, Mom and Dad included." My eyes snapped open. "You did what?" Olivia's face hardened. "I told them they were selfish, irresponsible, and that they'd driven away the best person in this family. I said if they didn't get their act together, they'd lose me too." I stared at her, speechless. Olivia had always been the peacekeeper, avoiding confrontation at all costs. "You didn't have to do that," I whispered. She grabbed my hand. "Yes, I did. Leah, I'm so sorry I didn't stand up for you sooner. Can you forgive me?" Tears welled up in my eyes as I pulled her into a hug. "There's nothing to forgive. You're here now, and that means everything." As we embraced, my phone buzzed. A text from Sam. "I understand now. I'm sorry for everything. I hope one day you can forgive me." I showed it to Olivia, who raised an eyebrow. "Are you going to respond?" I thought for a moment, then typed, "I forgive you, Sam. Not for you, but for me. I hope you find peace and learn from this. Goodbye." As I hit send, a weight I didn't know I'd been carrying lifted from my shoulders. I turned to Olivia, suddenly feeling lighter than I had in years. "You know what? I think it's time for a celebration," I declared. Olivia grinned. "What did you have in mind?" An hour later, we sat on my back porch, sipping wine and watching the sunset. Rosie lounged at our feet, content in the peaceful atmosphere. "To new beginnings," Olivia toasted, raising her glass. "And to family," I added, "the ones we choose." As we clinked glasses, I reflected on the tumultuous journey that had brought me here. The pain, the betrayal, the heartache. It had all led to this moment of clarity and self-discovery. I realized that in losing the family I thought I needed, I'd found the strength I never knew I had. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in years, I was excited about the future. "You know," I said to Olivia, "I think I'm going to apply for that department head position at the university, the one I always thought was out of my reach." Olivia beamed. "That's fantastic. You'll be amazing." As the last rays of sunlight painted the sky in brilliant hues, I felt a profound sense of peace wash over me. The chaos of the past few months had forged me into someone stronger, someone unafraid to stand up for herself and pursue her dreams. I looked at Olivia, my faithful ally, and down at Rosie, my loyal companion. This, I realized, was what true family looked like. Not the toxic relationships I'd left behind, but the supportive, loving connections I'd chosen for myself. "Here's to the next chapter," I said softly, more to myself than anyone else. And as the stars began to twinkle in the darkening sky, I knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, I was ready to face them, on my own terms, with my chosen family by my side.